Most people, they spend their whole lives reading, someone else's story. They never pick up the pen. Listen, coming up, you're going to learn why that ends today. There we go. Good morning. You're in the lab where excuses expire and authors emerge. Hey, you got Keith Bilous here. Quick note before we get in the contents is raw. Coming up, the language sometimes is foul. So if you got kids in the room, I don't know, you know the drill. Put the headphones on or walk the motor. Just turn the volume down. 10 spots, 100 days, 100 hours, and one shot at rewriting everything and transforming your life. The question is, nation, the question isn't if you're ready. Nope. The question is, are you qualified?
That's the one beautiful thing about habits and personal standards. Then when you really need to do something you don't want to, you practice it so many times. It becomes much easier to execute when you feel like you can't. The brain now is when thousands of years ago, our brain was our friend. It kept us alive. Now, our brain just makes us fucking lazy.
Every great story started with someone picking up the pen. And here's the key, nation. Every transformation began with a single word, a single thought. And every breakthrough opens with one decision.
So when you're writing your story, is it a story about why you are great at what you do or why you're this amazing person? Or is it a story about why you're not the person you want to be?
Open that calendar app, scroll to yesterday, count the stories you let others write for you. Are you holding the pen or somebody else? Are you starting your story or are you still reading from someone else's script? Rejection is a part of the game in business and in life. But in my experience, no isn't just the end, especially in sales, Johnny. It's just the first door in.
If I was actually paying closer attention, I would have gathered more information to help me with the struggles I was having.
I got to learn how to listen actively because I keep talking. Or you go into a situation and you feel, I think a lot of us humans, Johnny, don't like awkward silence. What I'm encouraging you to do today, Johnny, as you go through your day is to pause, reflect, and go, okay, wait a minute. I hear Keith saying something. I want to acknowledge what he's saying. I want to acknowledge perhaps what his concerns are.
Communication with someone, especially someone you love, is important because you want to, obviously people want to be heard. They want to be understood. And I guess when it comes down to it, I don't need to be right. I want to be happy.
When you agree to disagree, in many ways, John, within a business or even within a family, you're just saying, I'm waiting for you to fail so I can give you the finger and tell you, I fucking told you.
If we're talking about real success, high-level success, you're never going to do it by yourself.
It's funny, Johnny, how sorry is such a hard thing for us to say as human beings. The ego gets in front of us and you're like, I'm walking up to you as my partner, Johnny. I'm ready to go. Jack's down 40 pounds, fucking rocking and rolling it every single day, getting up and showing up for the show and winning life. Learning how to take those no's and turn them into yes. If you're just going to show up in the gym and lift the same 25 pounds every single day, ain't going to work. Your muscles need a challenge. They need a challenge to grow. They're going to start in the kitchen. Yeah, that's where it's all going to start. So listen, guys, when men are stuck in the valley of mediocrity, when their mornings feel more like quicksand than launching pads, when they're ready to turn those first hours into a competitive edge, you know who they call?
The biggest wins come after the biggest losses in most cases.
And in many ways, it's like climbing the highest mountain, right? You're climbing the highest mountain out of the valley.
Don't let a good tragedy go to waste.
Just get what's in your mind on paper and then move on. That's how you get out of the valley.
You're going to do it again tomorrow. And when you do it every day like that, you realize it doesn't have to be perfect.
Every single morning we get up out of bed and you're starting at the bottom of the base of the mountain.
Every day we wake up and we're behind the 8 ball. And if we allow ourselves to stay there, that kind of determines how we live our lives.
Just dump your brain into your document. Just journal. Just get your words out.
If you don't want to be average anymore, you've just got to stop doing the shit that average people do. If you want to take the step to not be average, all you've got to do is recognize it starts with today. Take the first step. And once you're in motion, you will realize it's not nearly as difficult as you think.
You're listening to an average person, you're just going to get average advice. Is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
So stop listening to average people for average advice.
Action offends the inactive.
When we set a new boundary for ourselves and people are not accustomed to seeing us carry through with it, then they're just waiting for us to go back to do the dumb shit we were once doing. And you got to surround yourself with people that want something for you rather than people that want something from you.
You want to be surrounded by people that support you. Go out and do it first and be that person. And then you're going to notice that those people then will become attracted to you. It can be challenging, right? To be able to block the noise out and just focus on what's important and the opinions of people that are actually there to help make you better and help grow. What do I have control over in this situation? I have control over how I communicate. So is my issue because I'm not communicating well? Am I making assumptions? Am I not being clear? If you do everything that's within your scope of control and it still doesn't improve and get better, now it's maybe time to reevaluate where those people sit in your life and how much credibility that you give to their input and their feedback. Not every relationship that we have is going to be in our life forever. And that doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. Journaling and or talking, because one might be easier for people than the others. You have a confidant or someone close to you that you have no problem opening up to and dumping it all out with them, then that can be really helpful.
We just crushed the first hour talking about how to achieve big goals in life and how to write your story without having somebody write that story for you.
Your story is everything, because what you tell yourself is going to be either really limiting or it's going to be completely liberating.
The brain's a powerful thing, guys, and it can tell you what you think it's telling you, or you can grab that pen and start recreating that story yourself. How to turn a no into a yes, so that if you have the erection working, you can get the yes from your partner. If you just stand there and sell, your partner, your boss, is gonna look at you like, what the fuck, man, just shut up.
And the thing about it is people want to make a choice. They don't want to be sold. People want to choose. They don't want to be sold. When I'm asking questions, I'm wanting to understand more about what's going on with the other person. It gives me a better perspective on how to deal with the situation and how to make it work for both of us. You're just playing with the situation, playing with words, playing with perspectives to get them to see something that you think they might be missing. But if you think they get it and you're just trying to tweak their mind, now you've crossed the line.
Walking away with grace just demonstrates professionalism, and you might even gain something from it.
Call it a loss, call it a failure. You get to learn now. It's okay. What I was bringing to the table wasn't really a solution that worked for everyone. So now you got to realize, okay, how do I alter what I'm doing?
If both parties walk away from the table just a little bit unhappy, ultimately the deal is happy.
Because they have to share. Whatever it is has to be shared.
Could you imagine if we're doing the deal together, you're using that same philosophy where I'm like, you're getting 110 and I'm getting 95 out of the equation, and then you don't perform as the athlete in this situation? What's quickly happening, right? I'm quickly feeling like I got the bum end of the deal, right? So
if the expectations of the agreements are not understood, and they're not really well defined, and especially if one person walks away feeling like they got bent over, then they're thinking to themselves, well, that son of a bitch, when I'm hired to do something, I'm always going to do a little more because that makes me feel like I'm going beyond what I was hired to do.
Don't always try to get to a deal to win it, right? Sometimes winning it is actually losing it in the big picture. Life is not over after 50, man. Life is just starting.
Take care of yourself, and you may be really surprised just in a week or two that some of the stuff will bounce back for you.
If you're crushing fatty foods, you're crushing booze left and right, you're crushing all those accumulative choices that you started when you're 18 or 20, and you're trying to continue that in your 40s and your 50s, there's no question your sex life is going to change. It all starts looking in your own mirror and eating some good food, getting some good sleep, and it's going to turn into some good results in the bedroom.